first, I want to talk about Indiana. They got embarrassed by Iowa. That's the best way to describe it. It was embarrassing. It was bad. Iowa looked faster. They really got to the ball quicker. Many of those turnovers were shortly after a pass was received when the ball isn't fully secured, and Iowa just got there. They seemed quicker. They were lightning, and they really got to the basketball in terms of rebounds, in terms of steals and turnovers, things of that nature. Iowa got to the basketball much quicker and with much more intensity than IU did. Drew Thelwell had 6 steals for the Hawkeyes. The team had 11. They won the turnover contest resoundingly. Iowa really, to me, on offense, just had way too much space to move the ball around. I think that really this game and this loss boils down to offensively for the Hoosiers, just obviously not taking care of the basketball, but Iowa was, again, just quicker. They were quicker, and on defense in specific, they were quicker. Indiana, they're moving the ball around, and Iowa is just in there, and they're getting steals. Of course, they had 11 on the game. And then on the other side of the floor, Indiana, again, they're just a bit slower, it felt. And it felt like they were leaving too much space for Iowa to hit shots, to drive to the bucket. And especially you look down low at the front court where Iowa had some great successes against Omar Ballo. It felt like Indiana was just slower again, and it felt like they were leaving too much space on defense, and offensively, it just didn't seem like they had quite the intensity. Iowa forced Indiana to play at their pace, and they couldn't win. Indiana was, in my opinion, trying to slow it down a little bit in this game, and Iowa just, again, lightning fast, lightning quick, high intensity. They win this game 85-60 because Indiana just could not quite play at that level. And that's what's happened to Indiana a couple times this season, where they're playing an opponent that, and I don't know if Iowa's better than Indiana. I guess clearly they won by 25, but from a resume perspective and a ranking perspective, Indiana, when they're playing someone equal to or greater than their level, it's felt like they're just slower, and it feels like they just don't have the intensity to keep up with a team like that, and that worries me for IU because they really just have one quality win, right? They beat all the team. Well, they don't beat all the teams below them, but they certainly beat quite a few of the teams below them. They very much struggle against the teams above them. Talking about teams like Gonzaga, right? Their only true quality win is at Penn State. I don't know if Penn State's better or worse than IU. We'll see at the end of the year. But that game on the road, in my opinion, is a quality win still regardless. I think Penn State's a great team. They, of course, were able to beat Purdue earlier in the year. Penn State will go to the tournament most likely. IU, that's really their only quality win right now. They haven't won a big game at home. Of course, this game was on the road as well. Iowa, again, had way too much space. They were much quicker. It's hard to win a game on the road in the Big Ten, and I know that I say this every single episode. Every single time I have a segment about IU at Purdue basketball, I'm talking about how difficult it is to win a game on the road in the Big Ten, and I don't want to be seen as the guy that just parrots that after every loss. But this feels like an exception, and that's exactly why I feel like I won't be that parrot. Indiana objectively played poor, sloppy, embarrassing basketball, and Woodson's team threw away another big game opportunity. This game on the road would have been a very quality win for IU. And again, by the time we get to tournament time and Selection Sunday, if IU's on the bubble, I just don't know if they're going to have the quality wins to outweigh the successes of other teams around them on the bubble. I don't want to look that far ahead right now. But again, Indiana played horrifically bad against Iowa on the road, lost by 25, and that's just not something that a tournament quality team and a true team capable of making a run in the tournament should be putting up, right? That's just not the performance that they should be putting on the stage. Iowa created more shot opportunities. Indiana shot horrifically. They were bad. Iowa put up 6 more shots. They made 5 of them. Still, even without those, they would have won easily. IU was 24 for 59 from the field. That's 40.7%. That is bad. They were 25% from 3 as well. So IU wasn't shooting well at all on the road. That's also evidenced by the fact that they had 60 points on the night. Iowa was creating more shot opportunities. Again, it just felt like they had more space, and it felt like Indiana just wasn't as quick to the basketball and as quick to the basket as they should have been. Didn't have that intensity, and that makes me begin to miss Malik Renew. Miles Rice had 12, and besides Ballo's 10, he had another double-double. Miles Rice really kept the offense afloat, but Indiana losing their leading scorer to injury is starting to really hurt the Hoosiers, right? Reneau's influence is one that seems irreplaceable at the moment. Sometimes star players go down, and there's teams with a lot of depth, right? Sometimes there's someone underneath them on the depth chart capable of sort of sliding in and slotting in. And that just isn't the case, right? It doesn't feel like Malik Reneau, his production, his influence, his impact is replaceable at all. Miles Rice did have 12. Ballo had 10. But again, IU scored 60. They shot very poorly, and they didn't have Malik Reneau there to kind of keep the offense afloat and keep the team in it. Miles Rice filled that role. That was great, but you shouldn't be in that situation in the first place. Amar Ballo really, with Malik Reneau out, is the only consistent producer at the moment. He had 10 points and 13 rebounds in this game, another double-double. Miles Rice, he's prone to off games. Everyone is, right? Miles Rice is prone to having an off game. He'll show up and score 4 or 2, right? Especially in those big games. Mackenzie Mbako, he's slumping. Reneau was, of course, out. Ballo has become the only consistently reliable producer. And when I say that, I mean he's basically averaging a double-double almost. He averages, I believe, 14 points a game. He averages 9.8 rebounds. He's close. He's had multiple double-doubles in a row. Added another one here. Like I said, 10 points, 13 rebounds. But the thing about Amar Ballo, and the reason why he's not a true star for the Hoosiers, is that he's had some very bad moments on defense. Freeman and Sanford, both for the Hawkeyes, combined for 39 points in this game. That's basically, they're both averaging close to 20 down low. The front court has defensive struggles, and it starts with Ballo. Multiple moments where Iowa is just fueling the ball into the front court, down to the blocks, and Amar Ballo, granted, he doesn't have much help as a big man down there. He's facing 2 big men that Iowa has. That was the disadvantage. That was the mismatch. Amar Ballo defensively had some bad moments as he was split across both of those guys. And that matchup is what Iowa won, and that led to, of course, coupled with all of the other issues that we saw from Indiana, that really did, it feel like, lead to this victory for the Hawkeyes and maybe the sizable margin between the scoring in it. Indiana's going to play Illinois tonight, right? They, again, still don't have Malik Reneau, most likely. They're going to play Illinois tonight at home. Iowa played a great game. It's hard to win on the road in the Big Ten. But again, Indiana wasn't quick enough. They weren't intense enough, it felt like, on the road. They weren't shooting well enough. They didn't have that star player to sort of keep them afloat on offense or defense. Amar Ballo wasn't there on defense. Malik Reneau wasn't there on offense. Miles Rice did a great job. But still, IU just didn't have the guns to run with Iowa on the road. But now they return home, and it's a much more difficult opponent, right? Illinois is number 19 in the country. The AP poll just got updated. They've won their last 3 games on the road. So Indiana now at home, Illinois, of course, on the road. Indiana returns home to have an opportunity to at least play well. In my opinion, they don't have to win this game against Illinois. They don't have to. They do not have to win this game. I just want them to play well at home, right? And there's going to be a great home crowd there. I know people go into that game. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to watch it. It's on at the same time as the Pacers game, so my attention will be split. But regardless, huge game for Indiana at home against Illinois. Illinois just lost. They're obviously vulnerable. They lost to USC by 10 at home. They beat Washington and Penn State just before that. So there's 2 real keys to me for this game, and I want to just briefly preview this game between Indiana and Illinois, because there's 2 primary keys for these to victory, I suppose, for the Hoosiers. Illinois really has 2 most notable players. Their 2 most prominent players. They have one in the front court. They have one in the back court. They have Tomislav Ivisic. He owns the paint, right? He averages numbers just below Ballo's. One-on-one down low. It's Omar Ballo versus Tomislav Ivisic. Which one of them will come out on top, right? We talked about just earlier the Pacers, how they won the front court battle, their 3 against the Cavs 3. They won by 15 in terms of scoring, and the Pacers won the game. And Amar Ballo got decimated by Iowa's front court. And again, Freeman and Sanford, there was 2 of them. Anytime there's 2 bigs on the floor at the same time against one true big in Amar Ballo, yes, Trey Galloway was down there, but still, Amar Ballo, largely on his own. Indiana lost the front court across the board, and Iowa had a lot of success in between the blocks as a result. Illinois has 1 star that's slightly less productive than Amar Ballo is. Who's going to win that battle? The winner of that battle likely wins the game for the team, but that's also coupled with Kasparas Jakučionis, who averages 16.4 points per game. He shoots just under 50% and 42%. I need you to understand that. just under 50% from the field, but just under 42% from three. That is fantastic for a leading scorer. So he's going to be a problem in the backcourt. So the question to me is defensively, it really goes back to the two things that Indiana didn't have against Iowa. Can they have them against Illinois, right? Amar Baldo on defense. Can he limit Ivicic? Can he win the front court against Ivicic? Can he just simply outscore him? That's going to be a big deal, and Amar Baldo is really going to have to play good defense to make that happen because consistently big men are having great scoring nights and great scoring performances when Amar Baldo is the man on the other side on defense. And conversely, do they have someone that can keep up with Illinois' leading scorer? Do they have someone that can hit 17, hit 20 maybe in this game? I think one of the guards for IU is going to have 20, and I think that Ivicic preferably is going to have under 10. And I think if those two things happen, I think Indiana wins. If someone on Indiana other than Amar Baldo, if a guard, right, someone in the backcourt has 20 points, and if Ivicic for the Illini has less than 10, then Indiana will win this game. That's my opinion. That's, I think, the two keys. Amar Baldo on defense down low. Somebody, whether it's Miles Rice, whether it's Luke Goody, somebody is going to have to be hitting from three, from the field, getting to the lane, getting to the basket, right? Someone is going to have to be scoring 20 points in the backcourt, and Amar Baldo is going to have to play great defense. I think that's how IU can beat Illinois. They don't have to win. They just need to play well. And those are two keys to playing well, in my opinion, that could in turn lead to a victory. But after this embarrassing loss to Iowa, Indiana is going to need to turn it around. And I think they could be capable of doing that in Assembly Hall tonight.